Welcome back to English Podcast for You, your cozy little place to learn natural English through real everyday conversations. I'm Tom.
And I'm Lily. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us today, wherever you are in the world, whether you're taking a walk, cooking dinner, or commuting to work.
Yeah, seriously, thank you. Listening to English like this isn't just a small thing. You're training your brain to pick up the rhythm, the flow, and the natural emotion of real speech. So really, give yourself some credit today.
Absolutely. Now, Tom, before we jump into today's topic, I have to ask you something. You looked a little cautious when you walked into the studio today. Is everything okay?
Oh boy. Well, remember yesterday when I told you I was going to stay completely out of office drama and just focus on my own work?
Yes, you literally said, Lily, I am a fortress of peace.
Right. Well, my fortress of peace crumbled within about 10 minutes of getting to my desk this morning. A coworker walked up, leaned in, and whispered, "Did you hear what happened in the management meeting?" And for 3 seconds, Lily, I wanted to know so bad.
Oh, the temptation is real. It's like a magnet.
It really is, but it made me think about what we're talking about today, dealing with gossip, staying out of rumors at work or school, and how building true confidence helps you stay clean from all that drama.
You know, Tom, it's funny because gossip always starts so innocently, doesn't it? It usually begins with a whispered, hey, I shouldn't be saying this, but, or did you hear about?
Exactly, and that's how the rumor mill gets started.
Ooh, the rumor mill. That's such a great visual phrase for our listeners. A mill is a machine that keeps turning and grinding things down. So when we say the rumor mill is spinning, it means people are constantly generating and spreading stories, right?
Spot on. When the rumor mill gets going at work or school, it feels almost impossible not to get sucked into it. Why do you think we get pulled in so easily, Lily?
Honestly, I think it's a human connection thing. When someone shares a secret with you, even if it's bad news or a rumor, it makes you feel like an insider, like you belong to the group.
That is so true. It gives you this temporary, fake sense of closeness with the person telling you. But here's the catch. If they're talking about someone else to you, they're almost certainly talking about you to someone else.
Oof, that is the golden rule of office drama. If someone brings rumors to you, they will take rumors from you.
Exactly. And that's where personal confidence comes in. Building the self-assurance to step back from the rumor mill takes real strength because you're choosing not to take that easy, cheap shortcut to bonding.
I worked at a job a few years ago where the whole office felt like a completely toxic environment.
Really? What was that like day to day?
It was exhausting, Tom. Every morning, people didn't say, good morning. They would lean over their desks and start dissecting who was getting let go, who was arguing with the boss, who was making mistakes. It was pure hearsay.
Hold on, let's pause there for a second. Hearsay. That's such a useful word for English learners.
Right. Hearsay is information you heard from someone else, but you don't actually know if it's true with your own eyes or ears. You didn't see it happen. It's just he said, she said.
Unverified stories. And living or studying in a toxic environment full of hearsay creates so much hidden anxiety. You feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells.
Yes, I remember coming home every day feeling mentally drained, even on days when my workload wasn't even that heavy. And I couldn't figure out why until I realized drama drains your energy just as much as hard labor does.
It really does. When you're swimming in a toxic environment, your nervous system is always on high alert. You constantly wonder, are they talking about me now? Did I say something wrong? It slowly destroys your inner confidence.
So, Tom, how do we actually protect our peace? What do you do when a coworker or classmate walks up to you with fresh gossip?
My absolute best tool? I try to stay neutral.
To stay neutral, I love that. What does that look like in real life when someone is standing right in front of you?
Well, to stay neutral means you don't take a side, you don't add fuel to the fire, and you don't pass the story along to the next person. You basically become a dead end for the rumor.
Like a gossip graveyard. The story goes to you and just disappears.
Exactly. When someone says, "Did you hear how terribly Sarah handled that presentation?" I'll just say something super calm and neutral like, "Oh, really? I didn't notice. Anyway, do you have that file for today's meeting?"
Ah, that is brilliant. You acknowledge them politely, but you immediately pivot the conversation back to something safe and productive.
Right. You don't have to be rude or aggressive. You don't need to lecture them and say, "Gossip is bad. Stop talking." That just creates more drama.
Imagine standing up on your desk, "I forbid gossip in this room." No, that definitely wouldn't end well.
Not at all. Staying neutral is quiet power. It shows people that you are grounded, mature, and secure in who you are.
But what if staying neutral isn't enough? What if a specific person or group constantly tries to drag you into the mess every single day?
That's when you have to intentionally create distance.
Distance? Do you mean physical distance or emotional distance?
Honestly, both. Physical distance might mean taking your lunch break at a slightly different time, or taking a walk outside, or sitting away from the noisy area. Emotional distance means keeping your conversations strictly polite, professional, and light.
You know, Tom, creating distance can feel a bit uncomfortable at first. Sometimes people worry, if I distance myself from the group that talks drama, will I be left out? Will they think I'm stuck up?
That is such a real fear, Lily. I've felt that before, especially when starting a new job. But here's what I've learned. Real confidence isn't about being liked by every single person. It's about being comfortable doing what keeps your mind peaceful.
Wow, that is so true.
When you distance yourself from a toxic environment, you might miss out on the latest juice, but you gain self-respect, focus, and true trust from the people who actually matter.
I love how this whole topic connects directly back to building self-confidence. Because when you feel confident in your own skin and your own work, you don't need cheap drama to feel entertained or important.
Exactly. Drama is like cheap junk food for your brain. It feels exciting for 5 minutes while you're eating it, but an hour later, you just feel gross inside.
What an image. Gossip, the fast food of daily conversation.
But it's true. Real nourishment comes from real connections, mastering your skills, and being able to look at yourself in the mirror with pride.
You know, Tom, I was reading an article the other day about workplace dynamics, and it said that people who consistently avoid the rumor mill actually end up getting promoted faster in the long run.
Really? Why is that?
Because management eventually notices who is reliable and who spends half their afternoon whispering in the hallway. When leaders look for someone to trust with bigger responsibilities, they look for the person who knows how to stay neutral under pressure.
That makes complete sense. Emotional maturity stands out, especially when everyone else is acting like they're still in middle school.
Right? So staying away from drama isn't just good for your heart, it's literally good for your career and your studies.
Absolutely. And for our friends listening right now who might be struggling with a noisy rumor mill at their school or workplace, just remember that you don't have to fix the whole environment. You only control your own reaction.
Yes, you don't have to change everyone else. You just build your own boundary, keep your head clear, and keep moving forward with confidence.
It really comes down to daily practice. Just like learning English, you don't become fluent in one day, and you don't build unbreakable confidence overnight either. It's one small choice at a time.
Exactly. Choosing not to repeat that piece of hearsay today is a step toward building your inner strength. Choosing to walk away from a bad conversation is a vote for your peace of mind.
Plus, it saves you so much time. Think of how many hours people waste talking about other people's lives instead of building their own.
Oh, hundreds of hours a year. If people took all the energy they spent on office drama and put it into learning a language, everyone would be trilingual by now.
That is hilarious and so accurate. Learn English instead of gossiping. That should be our new channel slogan.
I love it. It's completely true, though. Channeling your focus into self-improvement instead of noise is the ultimate confidence move.
And when you start doing that, something amazing happens. You attract people who are doing the same thing. You start finding real friends who care about growth, ideas, and support rather than constant complaints.
That shift in your social circle is life-changing. When you step back and create distance from toxic habits, you make room for healthy, positive relationships to come in.
Exactly. You stop settling for cheap connection through gossip and start building real trust through shared values.
Now, let's reflect for a second on the language we've been using today, because these terms connect so naturally to this mindset. When we say the rumor mill, we're describing that continuous cycle of unverified stories.
And when that cycle takes over a space, it becomes a toxic environment, a place where negativity makes it hard for anyone to thrive or feel safe.
Right, and most of what feeds that machine is pure hearsay, stories passed from person to person without any real proof or truth behind them.
Which is why learning to stay neutral is such a powerful shield. You don't argue, you don't feed it, you just keep your balance and let the noise pass right by you.
And finally, putting physical or emotional distance between yourself and that chaos isn't weakness or fear. It's an active choice to protect your mental energy and maintain your self-respect.
Look at how those concepts all tie together. It's about language, but it's also deeply about how we choose to live our daily lives.
I hope this gives everyone listening today a little bit of inspiration. If you've been feeling stressed by drama around you, take a deep breath and remember that you have the power to step out of it.
You really do. You don't owe anyone your peace of mind.
So, Tom, next time someone comes over to your desk with a juicy secret about accounting, what are you going to do?
I'm going to look them right in the eye, smile politely, and say, "Wow, that sounds intense. Hey, do you know what time the coffee machine gets cleaned today?"
Beautiful. The ultimate neutral pivot. Masterful execution.
It works every single time. It confuses people just enough that they realize you're not playing the game, but it's so polite that nobody can be mad at you.
That's the secret, isn't it? You don't have to create a big confrontation to set a boundary. A simple, polite redirection is usually more than enough to send the message.
Exactly. People quickly learn who is open for drama and who isn't. Once the rumor mill realizes you won't grind its corn, it simply moves on to somewhere else.
And then your desk or your seat in a class becomes your own little sanctuary of peace and focus.
Which gives you all the mental energy you need to focus on what actually matters, like reaching your goals, feeling good about yourself, and mastering a new language.
Yes! Every single hour you save from drama is an hour you can invest in your future self.
That is such a good way to frame it. You're not missing out on gossip. You're investing that time back into your own life and your own growth.
You know, Tom, another thing that happens when you build this kind of boundary is that people actually start trusting you more with important things.
Ooh, say more about that. That's an interesting angle.
Well, think about it. When coworkers or friends see that you never talk behind people's backs, they realize, hey, Tom is a safe person. If I tell him something personal or professional, it's not going to end up as hearsay across the whole building.
That is so deep, Lily. Integrity creates safety. When you refuse to participate in the rumor mill, you quietly show everyone that you are trustworthy.
Exactly. People might go to the drama starters when they want quick entertainment, but they go to the calm, neutral people when they need real help, honest advice, or genuine partnership.
So by staying out of the drama, you actually build deeper, higher quality relationships without even trying.
It's true. It's a complete win-win. You get less stress, better focus, higher confidence, and better friends.
Why doesn't everyone do this? It sounds like the easiest choice in the world when you lay it out like that.
Because in the moment, that short-term surge of curiosity is tricky. Human brains are wired to be curious about other people, so it takes conscious effort to pause and choose peace over curiosity.
That pause is everything. When information comes your way, taking just 2 seconds to think, is this helpful? Is it true? Is it my business? Before you respond.
Is it helpful? Is it true? Is it my business? That is such a great 3-step filter to keep in your back pocket.
It really saves you from so many unnecessary headaches. If the answer to those questions is no, you just let it slide right off you and stay neutral.
And if the person pushing the story keeps pushing, that's your cue to kindly create that distance we talked about.
Exactly. You can always say, hey, I'm actually right in the middle of finishing this task, so I need to get back to it. Turn back to your computer or your book.
Simple, honest, and completely unshakable.
It feels so freeing once you start practicing it. The weight that lifts off your shoulders when you realize you don't have to hold opinions on everyone else's business is amazing.
It really is. You get to just live your life, carry yourself with quiet confidence, and keep your energy focused on positive things.
You know, Lily, that phrase, quiet confidence, really lands with me because I think a lot of people confuse confidence with being loud or taking up all the space in the room.
Oh, absolutely. People think confidence means having an opinion on everything and making sure everyone hears it.
Right. But real deep confidence is actually pretty quiet. It's sitting at your desk, hearing the rumor mill churn in the corner, and just thinking, I don't need to be a part of that to feel important.
Yes, it's knowing who you are without needing validation from the latest workplace drama.
Right. And let's be honest, staying out of it takes practice. I mean, what about those moments when the gossip is actually about you? That's the real test, isn't it?
Oh, that is the final boss of office politics, Tom. It's one thing to ignore rumors about other people, but when you find out someone is spreading hearsay about you, your heart immediately drops.
It really does. Your instant reaction is to get defensive, run over to their desk and demand answers. You want to fight fire with fire.
But if you react angrily, you just end up feeding the toxic environment, don't you? You end up giving them exactly what they wanted, more drama.
Spot on. The most powerful response when someone tries to drag your name through the mud is to stay neutral and let your actual character prove them wrong over time.
That requires so much emotional maturity. It's like taking the high road when the low road feels so much easier in the heat of the moment.
It really does. But rumors usually burn out quickly if you don't give them fuel. If you keep doing good work and treating people with respect, the hearsay just falls apart on its own because nobody believes it anymore.
It's like that old saying, what other people think of you is none of your business.
I love that saying. It sounds a little strange at first, but once you really absorb it, it's completely liberating.
It really is, because if you spend your whole day worrying about controlling what everyone else thinks or says about you, you'll be completely exhausted by 5 p.m.
Exactly. You're giving away your power. Creating that mental distance allows you to say, okay, they can say whatever they want over there, but over here, I'm staying focused on my piece.
You know, Tom, I've noticed that when one person in a team decides to hold that boundary, it actually changes the whole room. It's almost contagious.
Really? How so?
Well, think about it. When people see that you refuse to participate in bad-mouthing others, it subtly sets a higher standard. It makes other people think twice before they open their mouths to spread something negative.
That is such a good point. You don't even have to preach or lecture anyone. Just by choosing to stay neutral, you create a safe zone around you.
Exactly. You become an anchor of stability in what might otherwise be a super chaotic or toxic environment.
So that's such a rewarding feeling, knowing that your presence makes the workplace or school feel just a little bit calmer for everyone else.
And that's true leadership. You don't need a managerial title to lead by example. You just need the self-respect to step away from the noise and keep your integrity intact.
Man, we've covered so much today, from dodging the rumor mill in the morning to standing firm in your own self-worth when things get tough.
And all in plain, natural English.
The best kind. It's amazing how discussing these real, everyday situations helps all these vocabulary words like hearsay and distance just stick in your mind naturally.
It's because language isn't just grammar rules in a textbook, Tom. Language is how we process our real lives, our emotions, and our relationships.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Lily. When you connect a word like stay neutral to an actual memory of stepping away from office drama, you never forget that phrase again.
Absolutely. So to everyone listening out there, think about your own day ahead. Where can you set a gentle boundary today?
Where can you choose peace over chaos, even if it's just in a tiny 5-minute conversation at the water cooler?
Or by the coffee machine.
Oh, absolutely. The coffee machine is ground zero for the rumor mill.
Oh, absolutely. The break room coffee machine is practically the headquarters. You just go in to make a simple cup of tea, and suddenly you're getting a full 3-part documentary about someone's private life.
Right? Here's your espresso. And by the way, did you hear about the restructuring on the 3rd floor? It's like the coffee bean grinder powers the whole operation.
But honestly, Tom, what's really interesting is how much energy it actually takes to engage in all of that. I remember times when I would spend 20 minutes listening to that kind of chatter, and afterwards, my brain felt so fuzzy and heavy.
That's that hidden mental strain we were talking about earlier. When you exist in a toxic environment, your mind is constantly working in the background, trying to calculate who is safe, who isn't, and what's real versus what's just hearsay.
Exactly. It puts your nervous system in this subtle fight or flight mode. You're never fully relaxed because you're always wondering where the next piece of drama is coming from.
And that's precisely why learning to stay neutral isn't just about being a nice person. It's literally an act of self-care. You're conserving your mental bandwidth for things that actually matter to your life.
Yes, like working on your career goals, spending time with people you care about, or learning a new language.
Exactly. Every ounce of focus you save by stepping away from the rumor mill is energy you get to put back into building your own future.
You know, Tom, I had a friend once who had a really creative trick for dealing with those break room gossip traps.
Oh yeah? What did she do?
She called it the praise flip. Whenever someone brought her a piece of negative hearsay about a coworker, she would listen politely, pause, and then immediately say one genuine, nice thing about that person.
Wow, the praise flip. That is genius. How did people react to that?
She said it was hilarious. People would completely freeze up. If someone said, David was so late with his project again, she'd just reply, oh, really? Man, David was so helpful with my presentation last week. He's such a hard worker. And the gossip would just instantly deflate.
Oh, that is incredible. It completely breaks the script. Because gossip relies on validation. The person spreading it wants you to agree with them so they feel justified.
Exactly. When you respond with kindness or a positive statement, you non-confrontationally show that you're not going to join in. You create that emotional distance without making an enemy.
To me, that takes a lot of confidence, though. To stand there in front of someone complaining and choose to speak well of the person being talked about, that shows real character.
It really does. But once you do it a couple of times, it gets so much easier. You realize that holding your boundary doesn't destroy your relationships. It actually establishes your integrity.
Right. It sets a subtle standard. People realize, okay, if I want to vent or spread rumors, I shouldn't go to Lily or Tom. But if I want real support or a positive conversation, they're the right people to talk to.
Exactly. You slowly filter out the noise and attract genuine, grounded people into your orbit.
Which brings us right back to creating a healthy space around yourself, no matter how chaotic the rest of the building might be.
It really is about creating your own little micro-environment, isn't it? The rest of the office or school can be spinning out of control, but your desk, your mindset, and your conversations stay peaceful.
Exactly. You become like an island of sanity. And you know, Lily, another thing that happens when you consistently protect your space is your actual work performance improves.
Oh, 100%. When you're not constantly distracted by who said what or worrying about office politics, your focus becomes laser sharp.
Right. Suddenly tasks that used to take 3 hours take 45 minutes because your brain isn't running 50 background tabs on hearsay.
Running 50 background tabs, that is such an accurate way to describe it. Mental clutter is so real.
It really is. And when you clean out that mental clutter, your self-esteem naturally shoots up. You go home at the end of the day feeling proud of how you handled yourself, rather than guilty or drained.
That feeling of going home with a clean conscience is priceless, Tom. Knowing that you spent your day putting good energy out into the world instead of participating in a toxic environment.
Absolutely. And for our listeners who are practicing their English with us today, notice how all of these ideas tie directly back to self-growth.
Yes, language learning isn't just about translating words in your head, it's about expressing who you want to be as a person.
Spot on. Every time you practice phrases like, I prefer to stay neutral, or I need to keep my distance from that situation, you're not just using English, you're setting boundaries in real life.
It's like double progress. You build your vocabulary while building your emotional intelligence.
We love a good 2-for-1 deal here on English Podcast for You.
We really do. So let's do a super quick recap of our key takeaways before we wrap up today's conversation.
Sounds great. First, don't feed the rumor mill. Let stories stop with you. Second, if you find yourself in a toxic environment, focus on what you can control, your reactions and your own boundaries.
Third, remember that hearsay is just unverified noise. Don't let it steal your peace. Fourth, practice the art of learning to stay neutral using gentle, polite redirections.
And fifth, never be afraid to create physical or emotional distance to protect your mental health and keep your confidence strong.
Such simple steps, but they make a world of difference.
They really do. Well, Lily, I feel like my fortress of peace is fully restored now after this chat.
I'm so glad. No more getting tempted by accounting rumors for you today.
Not today. I am officially gossip-proof.
That's what we like to hear. Thank you so much to everyone listening out there for joining us today. Keep practicing, keep protecting your peace, and keep building your English one step at a time.
Take care of yourselves, stay confident, and we'll catch you in the next episode of English Podcast for You.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.